Hello?
Greetings. How you doing?
Hello, David. Welcome back to Metal Chaos. How are you?
Oh, thank you. I'm well. And you?
I'm okay. Now I'm better.
Okay. Excellent.
I'm about to discuss Virgin Steel with one and only David. So
Okay, man.
it cannot
Okay.
get better than that.
Thank you, brother.
So with every Virgin Steel album, the same question comes to mind. How does David come up with these concepts? Especially the way, in this instance, you are drawing inspiration from the Greek mythology, and then add upon it. I mean, what is your process?
What is my process? It's basically the same on every record with every song that I write. Either I start at my piano and I'm playing something, and then it strikes my ear and goes, I really like that. That's good. Must remember that. Put that on tape, because I do leave a very small, very cheap cassette player on top of the piano with a built-in microphone, and I always play and sing into that. So yeah, other times I'm just wandering around my house doing something has nothing related to music, and I'll get a lyrical idea or a musical idea. Again, run to the piano, work it out, get the initial spark on tape. Sometimes I'm just sitting there, and I'll get a lyric or a title idea, or an idea just about an emotion that I want to, an image in my mind of something I want to paint sonically, and I run to the instrument and I work out the basic idea. And then after that, once you've got the initial spark, the initial lightning strike, the work begins of really developing the song into a full-fledged work that makes sense and has a beginning, a middle, and an end, and can carry you away on some enchanted place. That's where the work really comes in.
So what are you describing is that you are building up and you don't have the concept already in your mind, and you're trying to tell that story with your music. You're just putting one piece at a time, right?
Well, I'm speaking about just individual songwriting,
Okay.
in general. For this record, I probably approached a lot of it from the musical standpoint first, and then I had in my mind the general idea about what the overall theme would be, the concept, if you will, and then I had some ideas of titles and scraps of lyrics and things like that, and then once I was moving along with the music, of course, as I'm moving along with the my fingers on the keyboard, I'm also singing and getting ideas like that, and taking aim and taking arms for or against, ideas and words and phrases and whatnot, and I get the general idea roughed out, and I get the basic structure, the architecture, where it's going musically and chord-wise and melodically, and then if there are missing lyrics along the way, then I have to then dive down and get deeper into the poetic side and complete stuff like that. Some days certain things are just born together. Music and lyrics will come kind of fully born from the head of Zeus, so to speak, and other times it's a bit more work involved. Sometimes the lyrics are first, and then I say, that music I got there really actually represents that idea. But what I did with this album was, as I was going along, I made a sort of an outline, like you would make an outline for a story of like where I wanted it to go, how I wanted it to start, and how I wanted it to end. And I wanted it to start with this idea of betrayal, which the opening song represents. Yes. And then I wanted to have there was going to be a death, and then it was going to be a resurrection, which is I will fear no man, for I am a God. So I knew that, and I knew some of the other bits in the middle, and just then linking it all together as I went along. One thing leads to another, and you dive deep into each individual track and extract as much as you can from yourself. I call it wrestling with the universe, because that's what it really feels like. You're sort of like you're wrestling with the universe to bring forth something that's inside you, musically, spiritually, yes, emotionally, whatever,
And it's not only the universe, because the universe is a reflection of our own spirituality, right? That duality that you are talking about in the album exists in everyone. Even though we are living in times that people do not like, that they mistakenly understand duality as binary, and it's not like that. So yes, I wanted to to see how you took Dionysus in that, how you had this the fight, the duality, the two opposing sides fighting against each other, and what led you to Dionysus?
Well, I've always been intrigued by this god man. I like the idea of a tragic god. I like the idea of a tragic goddess. I wrote Persephone from the Nocturnes record, so I like that idea. I think it's because when you're all divine, I don't know that the divine has enough space to understand the human, but Dionysus does, and Persephone does, because they are half human. So that intrigued me, the idea of this. And I like the idea of Dionysus because there's danger with Dionysus. He can bring religious ecstasy, catharsis, and throw off your troubles with the wine and his rituals and whatnot. But one drink too much and the murderous side can happen. And sometimes his maenads did go over the edge. And there was, there was that other side that was represented. So, Dionysus he's said to be ripped apart by his enemies, ripped apart by his most faithful followers, and also hung on the tree. So I'm representing all that. And I really wanted to get at this idea of freedom, restraint. Is there room in our world for the irrational, the wild side, the letting go? Because he's also known as the god of letting go. Yeah. And I conclude that, he's most, he and that idea is most needed, because science says that even rats need escape from absolute reality. So if they do, I think we do. And I think with great freedom, I'm a believer in great freedom, also comes great responsibility. Absolutely. And it is said that, with these rites of Dionysus, when they were performed by people with understanding and true understanding about what they were doing with this, I said that they lived happier lives and can face death with a greater hope. So all that is represented and more in the record.
Oh, you just opened a huge, not the Pandora's box, but you opened a huge can of worms. Because, first of all, I thank you for going back to that quote, whether or not there is room in society. Because nowadays, and this quote is very relevant, what's happening nowadays, I don't think there is room. I think we have become even, I don't know, we claim to evolve, but in some aspects, I think we are moving backwards.
We are a failed species in a lot of ways. I agree with you there. These are troubled times. But if people would get off their phones and their social medias and whatnot and get back to really true communication, be it through Dionysus or whatnot, then they would see, I think, the magic of this sort of thing. And there is room and there is necessary freedom. Freedom, as I said, requires great responsibility. I don't mean freedom to just be an asshole, online or whatever. I mean, freedom to be who you really are, your full noble self, whatever that might be. Not to make ridiculous statements and comments and try to, send artificially intelligent created lies around the world. That's not freedom to me.
That's one of the biggest misconceptions, right? People say, I'm free and therefore I can write whatever I want. Yes, you can, but you are not free to attack anyone.
No, and you're not supposed to yell fire in a crowded theater. There are things you just don't do, you know? Yeah, but not everyone understands that. But that's intelligence, feeling, empathy. These are, words that aren't resonating enough. No, quite the opposite.
And I see the duality in Dionysus. I have trouble saying Dionysus because I'm Greek.
Yeah, I know. Dionysus, so it's so many different ways of saying it.
Yeah, so I like the duality that he has some right taking vengeance against Pentheus and what he did to his followers, but then at some point he goes on the other side, right, and he goes over the top to get his vengeance. So it took me time to get into that story, so I'm really looking forward to get the vinyl edition of the album.
Cool. Yeah, it looks very good. I'm looking at it right now, actually. Yeah.
Was there any specific reason why you chose purple for the color?
Yeah. I mean, that has to do with, I think, all these sort of ideas of the various dying, resurrecting God men, this kind of thing, this purple, and also born to the purple, this sort of kingly idea, and also rather than the red, the blood. I mean, it's more interesting the purple because it has more meaning. It seems to fit the passion more,
Yeah, and that is, I think, the color of purple is related to mourning, something like that, right?
Yes. So there were more than one reason why I chose that. And looking at it now, it looks quite good. I'm really enjoying it.
Okay, stop making me feel jealous now. Let's move on. What was Edward's and John's contributions in the album, in the song making?
There was no contribution. I wrote everything. Yeah, they played beautifully. That their contribution was to be studious and to be involved as much as they could on the playing side of it. Really, just embracing their specific gifts that they have, which is on their instruments, and bringing that to the fore on the record.
And did you record the bass and the drums? Did you record those?
Yes.
I have to tell you, it sounds like a lot of work. So how much time did the creation of this album take?
You mean after the writing, the actual recording?
I mean, from start to finish, because you have so many layers there. There is depth in the lyrics. There is depth in the music itself. To me, it sounds like a huge project. So how much time did it take?
It probably took a while. It's very difficult to say because when I was doing the last records, the Ghost Harvest and Gothic Voodoo stuff, I was writing this stuff, but I was also writing the album that's going to be out after this album. So
what?
I'm always writing. I'm always writing. I'm never really not writing. So I was just stockpiling more and more stuff. So and then I said, okay, these songs that are on the Passion album, I said, all right, these make sense. This is where I'm going with this. Stop. Don't add anything else to that. Anything else is going to be for the next record after that, and which is probably a double album already. To follow. So then recording wise, it went fairly quickly because what I do is I go in. I know these tracks because I've written them and they're fresh in my mind. So I go in there and I lay it down with the piano first, and then I really listen back and put a guide vocal and say, okay, is the arrangement right? Does anything need to be changed, removed, whatever, reversed? And if the answer is no, okay, then it's solid. There I am. And then I bring in Edward and I say, okay, this is what I got. He was listening to me play on the piano, all that stuff. And he was like, when are we going to do the record? When am I going to do the record? When am I going to play it? I said, okay, we're going to do it. Don't worry. And I brought him in and I teach him all the stuff. He learns very quickly. And right after he learns something, I track him. We're doing it right there in the studio. And that's how we did it. And after he's done, then I start doing all the vocals, the basic lead vocals. Mm-hmm. And then I start doing a bit of some of the orchestration, whatever after that. And then I hear things like, maybe I need a background vocal there, harmony there. And then I do that and okay, I think I need another note there. So I was originally just going to say, I'm going to try to treat this album vocally like Ozzy would. There's just a couple of vocals and he's done, Mm-hmm. But no, once I started doing it, it was like, oh, well, I need this other note. I need this choir there. And I sing all that stuff on my own. I don't have anybody else doing it. So it became more like a clean production from the vocal standpoint because I added more and more stuff. And then once everything's in, the real difficult task is mixing and mastering so you can actually make everything work. And that's probably I spend the most time at because it never sounds like it does in my brain. And I'm always trying to make it come out and be born into the light of day, into the dark of night. But I am relentless in that, and I just keep going back and back and back and back, and that's when it gets really sometimes painful for me to really, to deal with, because it's like I get frustrated and I want to smash everything. I want to start sometimes from scratch all over again, but I just stay with it and try to keep my cool as much as is humanly possible, and eventually it got done.
Well, just hearing you describing this, I believe it's challenging for you to say, okay, I'm done as far as songwriting. Let's move to the next step, right? How much effort does it take for you to stop what you're doing and move to the next one? Because as you said, let's add this layer, let's do that orchestral part. So how do you make yourself stop?
That's the tricky thing. I mean, because when you're in the stage where you got like 90% or even 100% of what you think is going to be in there, and then you're mixing. Then actually what goes on is I remove things. Like sometimes I'll be like, okay, well, I don't need that guitar there. I don't need that keyboard there. I don't need that vocal there, whatever. So there's a lot of stuff that I actually mute as we're mixing, so that goes on until I get it to where I the emotion is like saying I say emotionally it's right. It feels right like that. That's the thing. Sonically it feels right. Emotionally it feels right. That's the thing. And also then, I have to make sure that I preconceive some kind of fixed deadline in there. Mm-hmm. So that way I don't keep going. This one, on the last records that we did, the 3 that we did in the box set that were 3 new records, the Ghost Harvest, 2 of those, and the Gothic Voodoo. After I delivered that box set, I was still mixing that record. So there's different mixes.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. But on this one, I didn't do that. It was like, okay, yeah, I'm done. This is as good as I can make it. It's never really done. It's always just abandoned at some point. But this is anyhow. But this album was abandoned at a much later point, whereas much more grown up. So I could say, yeah, okay, it can exist on its own now. If I reissued it in 10 years or more, would I go back in and tweak something? Maybe not. Who knows if they ask me in 10 years.
I don't think the right word is abandon. You're not abandoning this. You are just saying, okay, I'm done. Let's call it.
Yeah, well, you are. See, you're sort of like saying, okay, this is go out into the world now. I've done all I can do for you, mm-hmm. And you're 16 years old or whatever you are now. You're 25. Get out there. Do something.
Yeah. I had to tell you that the last lyric line in the last song gave me goosebumps, where you say, you ate of my body, but you never got my heart. Because that, to me, also translates, it all means that, as human beings, you can hurt my body, but you cannot do the same with my spirit or with my will. So that's how I translated that and how it resonated with me.
Yeah, good. Yeah, that's important to me that any work that we do resonates with the listener, that they find themselves inside it, their own lives kind of represented, or their own emotions coming through there. That's what I like to do. It's not necessary that the listener knows everything that's going on in my life inside these songs, because yes, in addition to speaking about Dionysus, I'm also speaking about current world events and what's going on in the sphere of the area where I live. So it's more. Every record is like that.
You're still human, so you're right.
Yeah,
yes, of course. And it's I'm guessing that writing music is your way of expressing your thoughts, expressing your frustration, and hopefully getting some relief on that.
Yeah, it is cathartic in its way. Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah.
Do you have any plans, aside from the next album, do you have any plans taking Virgin Steel on the road?
Yeah, we are doing that now. We actually are in rehearsals for live gigs. Mm-hmm. We're going to Crete in August. We're supposed to be going to Spain as well. We have dates in Italy booked for November. So we're getting back into the live arena bit by bit. Yes, we are doing that, and we'll be doing more and more shows as the weeks and months go on. And we are working up a rather large body of work. So that way, if we did, let's say we played Athens, Thessaloniki, and Crete one after the other, say, there would be a different set list, each night, a little bit different, wouldn't be exactly the same. We like that. We've always done that, and that's kind of what we do in Virgin Steel.
Oh, yeah. But all these countries are in Europe. So what about the States?
We will be doing some stuff in the States. Where are you in the States?
I'm in Chicago.
Okay, we have been there once. Yeah, with Virgin Steel. Yeah, I could see it.
I would say you have only once. Since I came.
Yes.
So I'm looking for more.
Only once it was. Yeah, but we will start doing dates in the States as well. I would really like to. I want to do more work here. Since it's a little bit easier, you could fly out for a weekend and fly back, and it's not like, 6-7 hours and time change and all that. Yeah.
Absolutely. Although you mentioned Crete, oh man, that will be awesome.
I'm very much looking forward to that. Yeah, I mean, I have a very strong affinity for that part of the world. I've never been to Crete, so this should prove very interesting for me.
It's interesting to hear from you. I'm not sure if you can share with us what songs from the new album are you gonna play live?
I know that right now we are doing Spiritual Warfare. Mm-hmm. There'll be more. Yeah, we're in the middle of working all that stuff up. So there'll be a few tracks from the album along the way. Yeah, it's which we are touching base with a little bit of everything from all the records, or at least attempting to do so.
Attempting, because we saw you have a huge catalog and lots of music and great music.
Yeah, thanks, man. I really appreciate that.
That's about it, David. Thank you very much for your time.
My pleasure, Demetrius.
As I said, I'm looking forward to dive into the booklet and see what else you have there. And
yeah. There was a synopsis that I wrote that sort of explains some of what I've been speaking about with you. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That sounds even more tempting now. And have safe travels in Europe, and hope to see Virgin Steel here in Chicago.
Thank you, sir. I wish you a great and glorious weekend. All the best.
Oh, man. Thank you. You too.